What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Dave's Daily Dive, where we take a look at a quick recap of what happened on the trading day, try to make some sense of it, find some key levels, talk stocks, and then after going through a few of these, what we're going to do is take a look at the Zacks Rank #1 strong buy stocks that are breaking out to the upside today. We got 4 new ones that are moving on the move. So we'll talk about that. But first, crude oil. I have to talk crude for many reasons. Because we were talking about how crude kept on breaking out to the upside, and it started overnight, moving higher, got bought at the VWAP early in the morning. Then things got real thick in here. Now, these are minute charts, but if you look here, you can see the volume was increasing here. There's a lot of chopping going around in the 5180s, a whole lot, 5170, 5180, a lot of back and forth. And then, a little inventory report that just totally sank this thing all the way down to 5085 before bouncing up to the 5130 area again, and then running out of gas, running out of steam, rather, into the close. That's a rip your face off sort of just sink. It happened so fast. These are 5-minute bars, so just super quick. Big time downside. Every time I look at crude, I like to look at RBOB because, it follows a similar pattern, and sure enough, the same sort of thing. It's chopping higher, and then all of a sudden, lights out to the downside. Again, a late rally, stalls out. Nothing. So back to crude. What does this mean now? With this huge buildup for crude, this sort of intraday candle spiking higher and then coming down. Let's see what happens today. I know I've got there's a fib here that I really like to get rid of. Let me get rid of this fib. So we can see this more clearly. You have this move down lower today. What's going to happen in the session now? Really keep an eye on this. It's about 7 o'clock New York time right now. Keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on what happens with regards to these levels. So this low, sort of 49 and change. Why not we just call it 50, right? So keep an eye on 50 bucks. What's going to happen here? Crude was so strong here, and now perhaps it's running out. Let's draw a nice little fib here from the lows to the high, give you some potential support. There's that $50 level, the 38.2%. Plus you have the psychological, part of $50. So put those two together, and I think that you could see a little bit of a response at $50 here on crude. Okay, so keep an eye on that for tomorrow's trading. S&P, similar story. First, I'm going to look out on the daily. Same 50-day moving average. That trend line has been there for a while. Now we're testing it again. How did this happen today? Same thing that happened to crude, really. We were rallying. Everything was all good. Bought the VWAP around 10 o'clock, and then Fed minutes, and the Fed minutes just sunk everything. Plus, on top of that, you had Speaker Ryan come out and say that the White House, the Senate, and the House are not on the same page when it comes to tax reform, and the process to get tax reform done could take longer than health care. Not what the market wanted to hear. As a result, you get a 30-handle dive in the S&P 500 in 2 hours. Not a pretty sight, and as you'll see, took out the lows of yesterday, and that's the situation now in the S&P. So all of these good feelings get erased so quickly when you see a market do this. Now we've got the situation where now this is going to be the 3rd lower high that we've seen put in by the S&P. If it breaks this 50-day moving average, now we got something to talk about. If it breaks that 50-day moving average, 2273 is the next step down. We had this sort of initial downside support at the 2320s. So I guess a retest of that would happen first, and then 22.73, and then 22.35, a level beyond that. So those are some key levels to take a look at when you're talking about the ES. Got to look at the Russell, because these are, domestically inclined stocks, and sure enough, the Russell didn't like it either. Same scenario, intraday reversal, now big to the downside. Only the Russell's been in this consolidation period for a while. We've talked about it. So you're talking 1332 and change, essentially. So 15 ticks away, 15 handles away, rather, is what we're looking at for the Russell. And then the last one I want to look at here on the equity side is going to be the Nasdaq, because this has been the index that has been bucking the trend. And today, pretty much everything got roughed up, and the Nasdaq couldn't get out of the way either. So this sold off considerably, just like everybody else. So everybody got beat up today. Everybody got a black eye. So don't feel bad if you're out there and you lost money today, because a lot of the pros did too. Okay, it was a rough day. That's what happens. As far as interest rates go, very similar story, where you had early on in the day, interest rates were creeping higher, and then once those Fed minutes got released, you see a huge surge in the 10-year, dropping those rates back down. Of course, when you think 10-year, you should be thinking gold. And gold, what a day. So this thing got rocked early on, 12.55 all the way to 12.48. After the minutes, just takes off, goes from 12.45 all the way back up to 12.58. So basically takes it all back following the minutes. And now here we are in the Asian session, and it looks like it's starting to push a little bit higher also. So big time move out of gold, as you'd expect to see, along with interest rates. The euro, same sort of thing, climbs higher. Although this thing was chopping around. I'm having trouble looking to the euro for any direction, and pretty much anybody I think is, because look at this choppy just nastiness that was taking place. There's really no trend. I mean, it spikes higher, runs out of gas, drops lower, spikes higher, drops lower, all over the place, really not trending that well. People are having a tough time looking at this euro, trying to make sense of anything. So those are the kind of, this is kind of what we're looking at here. And moving forward, does this new trend continue, or are we in for something else? Okay, so now let's take a look at some of these stock ideas we have. So the first is Heska, ticker HSKA. Again, this is a Zacks Rank #1 strong buy. So if you haven't heard of Heska, they do animal health products, pretty much, right? So fancy dog food. I'm sure it's more than that, right? Animal health and vaccine products that are marketed and distributed by third parties. And this has been one heck of a ride here. I love it when I see a chart like this, bottom left up to top right, and I always ask myself the same thing. Dave, where the heck were you on this one? Because some of these just kind of slip through the cracks. I've never heard of this one before, but now it's definitely on my radar. Stock is pushed up above $100. You can see resistance here in early March at the $100 level, came back, regained its strength, gapped up, now it's above 100. I think it stays above 100. I think you can chase this. You can put a stop just below 100, and you're good. And if it reverses and it hits you in the face, oh well. But right now, it looks like we're trucking higher. That is Heska Corp, ticker HSKA. Now one that you probably have heard of, that's Boise Cascade. They do, wood products and building materials, pretty much. Lumber, panel, particle board, MDF, that kind of stuff. Not the most sexy story in the world, I suppose, but is it a MAGA trade? Of course it is. And again, bouncing off the lows of election day, you're talking a stock that was under 18 bucks. Now it's up at 28. Big day yesterday, a gap up, found support at this 50-day moving average, while the commodity channel index went from an oversold position, crossed over the zero line, giving you a buy signal here. One thing to be a little bit concerned about is this wick here, 29.50s and change. Go back to July of 2016. You see that again too. So maybe some resistance up here in the 30s. Maybe you want to wait, buy a breakout from that $30 level versus leaving yourself hanging out to dry here. But definitely something to keep an eye on there. Boise Cascade, Zacks Rank #1 strong buy, ticker BCC. Now we're going to get a little international flavor, ticker GGAL. That's the Grupo Financiero Galicia. I think I said that right. They are a Spanish bank, I believe. So overseas, ticker GGAL. Now I've got to double check and make sure that this thing is in Spain so I don't look silly, but I feel like it is. I feel like I know it is. Buenos Aires. Okay, no. So these guys are Argentine. So an Argentine bank. Anyway, so you've got a bottom in mid-December. The stock is up significantly since December, going from $23 all the way up to $39.81. That is a dramatic move higher, and really found a little bit of support at the 50-day here in early March. Continues to go higher. Now that 50 days all the way down at 34 and change. Volume has been pretty healthy along the way. Hasn't had a huge rip higher, really. I mean, it's gone up a few bucks here, but it's not like this exponential pattern to the upside that you're worried about dropping off. As it has gone higher, it's chopped back a little bit. So let's see how some of these sort of chops look. And there you go, just a small chop there. I'm drawing fibs on these just to see if there's any sort of, pattern that's been developing. A little bit of a deeper fib, and then it's gone higher. So for the most part, I think this is a little bit more of a slow and steady kind of name. Over the long run, we've just had a lot of mojo here. That is ticker GGAL. Now, we talked about Boise Cascade, so I guess we should go ahead and follow that up with another Zacks Rank #1 strong buy dealing with wood, and that, my friends, is Louisiana Pacific. A huge rally here in February. I believe that was following a decent earnings report. Now it's been chopping sort of back and forth in this consolidation range, but this is a breakout from the top of this range. I think I'd go ahead and chase this. I could put stops down here at $24. Very tight stop, and I wouldn't have to worry about it. Wouldn't have to lose any sleep. You have the commodity channel index that's showing you a buy signal, so you got a commodity channel index buy and a stock that's trucking higher, and it's a Zacks Rank #1 strong buy. That's Louisiana Pacific, ticker LPX. Okay, guys, that's it for Dave's Daily Dive. Remember, you can check me out. That's at Bartosiastics on Twitter. BARTOSIASTICS. Yes, it's a mouthful. No, you don't have to say it. You can just type it in Twitter, and then you never have to say it again. So, again, guys, there is my Dave's Daily Dive for the day. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good one.